Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VPPL finals yet again. Joining me commentary, Mark Robertson.
Good evening, Jamie.
Now, we've started a touch early before the guys start their matches, and I thought we'd just do a little bit of a pre-match analysis. So our two matches, as you can see on screen now, semi-final number one, Nick Young and Peter Butterworth will play. The winner of that will play myself next week, and the second semi, Steve Jamieson and Craig Stevens will play Robbo next week, the winner of that. I'll just throw you straight in the deep end, Robbo. Predictions for both match.
Well, all four players, very similar level. I'm going to go with Nick to beat Butters in a very close match. I'm going to say 11-9. Jamo and Craig, I'm going to go... As of yesterday, Craig probably hit the ball a bit better and on interleague day, but Jamo won last time they played. So I'm going to go with Jamo to beat Craig 11-8.
All right, I'm not going to do score predictions because I just think this game's too crazy for that. But I do basically think the same two guys will win that you just said. But having said that, there are some key elements that I feel need to happen in both matches. Number one, Nick Young needs to not be afraid of the freakishness that Peter Butterworth can produce, and not be afraid to put in that little drop snooker if it's going to give him the two shots. And for some reason, I don't know why, he's within earshot, so I better be quiet, but Craig does seem to struggle against power potters of the game, and Steve is one of those. So it'd be interesting to see how he combats that tonight.
Yeah, SpongeBob, so Craig Stevens, a bit of a nickname, SpongeBob. He doesn't have a very good record this season against the players in the finals. I think he's only beaten Nick out of all the players left in the finals, so that record does not hold him in good stead.
I'd have to say, though, he's gotten better as the season's gone on, and I actually rate him extremely highly. I think he's an excellent queuing action, but for some reason, just seems to struggle against these guys like Butters and Jamo. Don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, well, he hit the ball well yesterday, but in saying that, Jamo played pretty well too, and so did Pete. Didn't see a lot of Nick Young because he was on a different team, but those three guys played pretty well yesterday, hardly dropped a frame. So expecting to see some pretty good pool tonight. Yeah,
Nick's key for Nick obviously is to not miss when he commits and leave Butters open tables, to just basically clean up all the time. He actually wants Butters to be the one attacking and trying to take really difficult outs, because Butters actually has no handbrake at all, and he will just go for everything. That's the way he plays, and Nick will sort of want.
Yeah, he'd be half tempted to go yellows from that red on the left rail.
I mean, he does have an angle off his ball in the corner. I think if he might be able to deep screw into it and get the cannon straight away on the red, but I'm with you, Robbo.
On the bottom.
He's got a shot at this other yellow. You can just drop that in, and then obviously he's got the yellow inside the red. Black shouldn't be a problem after that, but this is the key shot right now. And he's hit it a bit soft. Now, as I was talking about, Rob, if he comes out, across the table another foot and a half, he's got a good shot on this yellow. Now he's actually forced to play a very good positional shot off this yellow, clear the red, and land behind the other yellow. He doesn't want to be dead straight on either, so a lot to do this shot.
Yeah, there was no benefit really playing that inner over, because if it sat over, Nick was just fat on his red up the top left anyway, so...
I'll tell you what, he's played that well. Got the little movement on the red, played it with a lot of good control, but once again has to play this shot, has to punch it in. These are tricky down the rail at pace. You've got to hit them absolutely sweet.
See, for me, if I've got this, I'm thinking, oh God, how have I made this my last ball? But Pete's just pretty sort of used to this. He just sort of gets on with it, and he actually makes a lot of these shots just because he's not actually that phased by him.
He'll probably drop it in and play the double. No, he plays it, and he's played it very well.
He's played that nicely. You go off the red here? Or you just try and just knock it straight in?
I think you back your ability to just drop this in. Although he does like to play these sort of shots, so...
I'd be tempted to go off the red. I think you got to It depends how far out it is. It's a bit hard to tell.
I know if this is me, I just take this in straight in all day because I'll just butcher that off the red, something savage if this is me. But Pete does play these shots well.
I reckon he'll go off the red.
Oh, he's already lined it up, but he's pot the red.
So this is pretty much what you were talking about. Is Nick wants Pete to have a go at those exact outs, and now Nick just needs to capitalise. So, and the winner can eventually.
Pointed out in our the title, the actual being called the winner of this comp.
Yeah, it's a very tough one. Very, very, very tough one to win. So you got a bunch of state and Australian level players in this, and it's only going to get tougher. And you're playing them over the course of the whole season, race to 11, so you can't luck your way. But also we got the Australian titles just coming up in a few weeks, and a few of these boys will be playing in that. So,
Jeez, I tell you what,
he's
just
just
wanted to
himself
stun
here,
that.
isn't he?
Well, he's played it as a shot to nothing, but he needed to actually stun that in so he could just basically pot that and just let the white ball drift directly across the table. He may actually go up and down off this.
I think if you're going to take this on, you've got to try and land nice on the black.
He must be able to drop this in dead weight. He's okay. Yep. I actually thought he had a little bit more angle going in off
easy. These pockets are not generous pockets. Like, you can't just lob this down. You've actually got to hit this all right.
He'll pot this easy, although I'll back him here.
I back him to get it, but it is missable.
Oh, wow, you were spot on. That was a good call.
That's what I just don't like his shot selection there based on the nerves. I just would, if I was his doubles partner, we're playing doubles there, I would have liked him to have knocked in a couple of blacks before doing that.
Yeah, how much will that matter, that frame? I know it's only the first frame, there's a long way to go, but that can matter a lot, that one missed black, knowing that you're the one that should have the number one next to your name.
If it was someone with more experience, like a Jake or a Ben or whatever, that they'll get on with it. But someone like Nick, who's still, he's a very, very skillful player, but he's still learning the art of actually winning. That really might play on his mind. That might cost him a few frames, depending on how he takes.
Well, what happens a lot of the time when you chop up like that, your opponent runs the next rack.
Yeah, and Pete's not necessarily a confidence player, but if he just, if he's feeling good, he's just going to take things on even more, and they'll just seem to just go in more often as well.
And he's pot a ball, and look at the yellows.
It's a nice break there. See how he held the white on the break. Got
good shot there from Craig as well.
SpongeBob. So Craig Stevens and Steve Jamieson. All we need is your name in there, to Jamie Stevens, and it'd be very confusing.
Well, just really only the black that's the problem. I think he's just checking to see if it goes to the corner. If it does, no need for any extraction. This should be fairly straightforward out.
Did you see what happened in the first frame? I actually didn't even know they'd started.
No, I didn't. Scores obviously to Jamo, maybe pot out, not 100% sure.
Pete's shots, how many Marcus doubles, Massays and Jackies he plays during a match. Were to all have a skill level.
But outs, he takes a bit extra time. Nothing wrong with that, of course. Just likes to make sure that everything's sorted out. And he's mapped his out.
You reckon that black's on in the corner?
Well, he's had a good look at it. Only he knows, I reckon, at the moment.
Well, if it was on to the, say, the left middle, I don't see a red that he can play to even get there. Maybe this one on the to the bottom left corner pocket and then bring the white off 2 cushions, but that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a tough shot. I can only imagine he's either going to try and come around underneath this or just drop it in for the corner. So it drops in for the corner. I have to believe this goes to...
Do you reckon he's planning on playing it off the yellow maybe? Like worst case scenario, he can play it off the yellow or something?
I'm going to say it goes. There's no way he'd commit the way he's gone. If it doesn't, he's going to have to screw off the side rail here and try and get fairly straight on this last red.
Yeah, Craig's a quality player. He's no 4th division. You know,
I do believe
he's got a plan
as well that he rolled Rusty 11-0 or 11-1 in a comp in Queensland a little while ago as well. So clearly he was flying that day.
That would have been nice to see.
Yes, we here in Victoria love to see Rusty get belted on the table a few times. G'day Rusty, if you're watching, mate.
Just taking notes. At the same time, we've got the second round of the non-qualifiers going on as well, and that's worth a bit of money too. The winner of that gets $1,000, runner-up $700, and the semi-finalists of those players gets $450. So they've still got a bit on the line too. Actually got Michael Scary, didn't qualify for the top 8 in this league, so that goes to show you how tough this league is.
Yes, it can.
Only Jamie.
I'm not actually sure what he's played for there, to be honest. Must be the double.
Double just must be on.
But he didn't very good out in the end. He's actually just banked that double straight in.
At least if you play a double with pace like that, you know what it's going to do. You know it's just going to square up a bit. I always, in these situations, pretty much over. So I really do try and look for some good safeties, and then the safety has to be easy enough to play that it's easier than trying to knock this red in long to be able to actually play it. If the safety's harder than the pot, then you might as well go for the pot.
Yeah, I think he's actually going to come off this thin, but he doesn't want to come off it too thin where his red's dead on the side cushion. Played it pretty well.
I like this shot. And that's what I'm talking about. You look for those shots. Keep yourself in the frame. Don't just hand frames over.
Yeah, I think he'll be a touch disappointed because I do believe he wanted that right on the side rail to cut this potting option off the bottom right-hand corner here.
Still, the white's going to fly. Those yellows probably only go into the right middle. But, yeah, he would have liked to have cut that off to keep his red on the right-hand rail into a big pocket.
I'm just wondering whether it's worth Butters just like playing this bottom yellow and just putting it over the hole and letting the white on the bottom cushion transition to the out would be actually quite tricky. But he's looking at something else that's far more creative than what I've just suggested, which is nothing unusual for Butters.
He's a tricky one to predict.
Well, he's gone for the double cross table, and he's got probably a very large result, one would say.
Yeah, he did have a lot of safety in mind there, though, but that's obviously worked out a lot better than what he planned.
Yeah, he tried to take the white down the same sort of area of the table. And now Nick's faced with a bit of a problem, actually, where he's probably going to need to look for another safety, but problem is there's so much availability up the other end of the table to play a yellow in a very large pocket that I don't see that being an easy thing for him.
Yeah, not a lot of safe places here. You got to have a crack at the double.
I don't reckon this double's on, mate. Oh, this one in the middle. I think this is actually the only shot.
I think you got to have a go.
And he's pot it.
He's made it, and he's on the shot, the big pocket down the rail.
Now,
and
the problem with this shot, this is not a big pocket as such. If you hit this cleanish, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those ones where you can actually catch the jaws and not the yellow. So you're either playing to play this off the yellow, or you're playing to pot it clean. You can't play for, I'll just hit it down there, and if I don't hit it, it's absolutely spot on.
Can you play it in or over, and then obviously you're not going to be ideal on your last trip, but you
He's played that perfect, fully committed, fully committed.
Oh,
I think he's okay.
I think he's just all right.
There was always a danger that can happen, but I do believe playing with that confidence is the shot. But the problem he's got here is he's actually got to pot this screw back to pretty much where he is now, a little bit shorter than that. Played it well. Played it too well.
A little bit too far.
This is an important black disc for Nick, and he's missed it by a fair bit.
He completely rushed it. I know you want to. There's nothing to think about on those shots. You just got to knock it in. But do take a couple of seconds to just compose yourself. Not time to talk yourself out of the shot, but just enough time to actually compose yourself, because he completely rushed that. He never normally plays any that fast.
Meanwhile, Craig Stevens has just run another rack there at the bottom of your screen.
Has to do it so often.
Now, he's always been good at him. I'm surprised he did leave it till last, though.
Me too.